All right. Doing this. I started recording this first. Then I realized that my microphone didn't work. So I had to record for a couple minutes, and I'm I'm lucky that I stopped the recording and checked, but I literally didn't record any audio. It was literally just me like flying around, just saying nothing. So we're gonna try again. All right, starting straight off with the bat. I like to always talk about characters first because that's my favorite thing in Overwatch, the characters. So, thing to know. Obviously, you want to know a lot about the strengths of your character and the weaknesses. So you both want to know what your character, in this case, obviously D.Va, you want to know both what your character is really good at to understand what advantages you want to, what advantages you're gonna want to have whenever you can, and you're gonna want to know any of your weaknesses so you can try to stay away from those as much as possible. D.Va is a very, very flexible character, and her strengths usually rely around her mobility. Wow, I can't speak. Her mobility, her damage output, and her defense matrix. Those are like, I mean, I guess that's just her abilities. She very much cares a lot about her abilities. Um, and, you know, she has a good amount of HP, a very, very big hitbox, one of the biggest headshot hitboxes in the game as well. So she takes a lot of damage, but in turn has some very, very good cooldowns, some very good abilities. So yes, this map itself for Dorado. Dorado is a very dive-focused map, which is great for D.Va. So already great character choice for the map. Dorado, you very much want to focus on high ground. As you can see for this first point here, there's this high ground up here you got to worry about, this high ground on the side. You even got to worry about this one a little bit if the enemies do want to play there while you're attacking. But yes, having control of these high grounds allows you to push forward as a team, and then once you can control these high grounds, now you can sit in this window, or at least you can have your teammates in this window, and they can shoot down on the enemy team in very safe spaces. And, you know, you can also, like, say, fly up to this high ground up here if someone's sitting up there. You can even fly all the way up here if you really need. Fly over to this high ground. Like, there's all these little high grounds that are super duper important for defending on this map. So when you're attacking, you want to make sure that the enemies cannot have a lot of control of those high grounds. Because of the rank, I don't actually know the exact rank of this game, but I was told that it's overall a low rank. So I don't know how much enemies are going to be taking, like, holding good advantages like that, because usually in lower ranks, teams are not going to be holding as good positions. I'm going to try to teach the best positions that I can think of in the moment. I'm not the best teacher ever, but I'm going to try my best. And, okay, back to the characters I was saying. For specifically what you want to worry about for the enemy team, I'm going to say is Sigma's Rock, his accretion. That thing will knock you down to your face, and you cannot block it with your defense matrix. Knock you down to your face, knock you down on your back, and you cannot defense matrix it. And you do not want to get knocked down because that means you can't defense matrix if a lot of damage comes to you, especially because they have a Bastion on their team. So you want to be careful about Sigma's Rock. Luckily, that's kind of the only thing you truly need to worry about that much with him, outside of him just constantly doing damage to you. He's still an annoying character. You want to try to get his grasp out, his, like, hands, his grasp. You want to get that out before you use missiles on him, just so you're not wasting your micro missiles. You want to try to bait that cooldown out of him early, and then burst him down with micro missiles after. That's a big tip for Sigma. You also kind of want to be worried about his shield, but D.Va does very good shield damage because she has shotguns. And the thing of why shotguns are so good is because they do a lot of damage, but they're made so that some of the pellets usually miss. But when you're doing against a shield, they don't really miss, even when you're far away. And because D.Va has unlimited ammo, you never have to worry about, like, not shooting most of the time. It's usually worth it just to might as well just keep shooting. So if Sigma ever throws up a shield and you have nothing else to shoot, you might as well just shoot his shield. I wouldn't use missiles against it if you can control that. Try not to use missiles against his shield too much, but just shooting his shield with your primary fire, definitely good. Now for the other worries, I'm going to say Mei is a pretty big worry. Because walling off D.Va is very good if she doesn't have fly, because, I mean, what is she going to do? Defense matrix runs out way too quick, and her primary beam goes through your defense matrix and slows you down, so it's scary. She also does a lot of damage with her right clicks, her icicles, and because your head's so big, icicles do a lot of damage to the head. Mei's going to do a good amount of damage to D.Va. She's pretty scary. Wu Yang is pretty easy to keep up with. He doesn't really have much that goes through shield. He has his wave that, like, kind of knocks you back, but it doesn't do a lot of damage. It's more for, like, healing himself up, trying to knock you back. The only tip I can really say is try to save your fly for after he uses wave. It's easier to chase him down that way, and try to bait out his shift first, his movement ability, so he's not able to run away from you. For Bastion, honestly, D.Va's a great tank against Bastion because Defense Matrix doesn't have any HP. Bastion is probably one of the best shield destroyers in the entire game, and tank shredders just because his DPS is so high in his turret form. But Defense Matrix doesn't worry about your DPS. So what you could do is, if Bastion ever goes into his shift, his form, and he starts trying to burst you down really quickly, you want to hold out Defense Matrix, try to block it as much as you can, and then like hide behind cover, and then you can re-attack him after his form is done and he has it on cooldown. Other than that, who's their last one? Where the heck is their Ana? Oh, back here. I'm blind. Yes, Ana is another great character for D.Va because you can just eat all her cooldowns, and if you get on top of her and throw a Defense Matrix, that's how you usually can bait Sleep Dart and nade out. Anas will sometimes panic, throw a grenade at their feet to like heal themselves. So what I like to do on D.Va, I'll do a little damage to her first, try to bait it out, and then I'll hold my Defense Matrix right on top of the Ana, and then she'll try to throw her nade at the floor, and then it just doesn't work because you eat it, and then she doesn't get healed from it, and you don't get antied. And if you ever see her hand make a movement, you'll see her, she'll like pick up her left hand. That means she's going for a Sleep Dart. If you really want to do like the best possible thing, you try to wait for her hand to like pick up to try to Sleep Dart, and that's when you want to press your Defense Matrix. It's not easy to do and takes a little practice, but if you get that down, that is a very good tip, and it's very hard for Anas to sleep you that way. And funnily enough, when you actually start to get truly better, some Anas might start baiting it by meleeing, because if you melee, it looks like you're about to pull out a Sleep Dart, and then you can bait a D.Va to try to Defense Matrix. You really don't need to worry about that, though. Those only really, like, if you get to, like, Diamond, Masters, probably not even Diamond, I bet, like, yeah, Masters, Grandmaster, any of that rank, that's when Anas might start doing that. And even then, I don't really think they're going to really care at the time. But just keep that in mind that it could eventually be a thing that they might try to bait you. But I would say just more be worried about whenever you see her other arm moving, like she's going for Sleep Dart, just pull out, just hold your Defense Matrix, try to eat the Sleep Dart, because that's just huge value for D.Va every single time. Alright, enough yapping, let's get to some... Alright, taking high ground, I like this. Great start. Yep. You don't want to use too much of your Defense Matrix really early on. I need to turn down the audio just a little bit because it hurts. It makes it harder for me to think. All right. You don't want to use too much of your Defense Matrix early on. That's a very important cooldown. A D.Va with a Defense Matrix is a very squishy character. You die really quick because your hitbox is so big. All right. So now we got a first pick on the Mei. In that situation, now that their team is going to be a lot more worried about backing up, they don't have as much help as they do. So in this situation, I would either push an advantage. What you could do is you could take up high ground right here and try to bait them back. It's kind of scary to do that because you don't want your Sig to walk on your backline. Sometimes you just have to trust your team to not die to the Sigma. But what I would do here, personally, if you don't trust your team fully, I would fly up to this high ground right here and just turn around and see what the Sigma does. If he keeps backing up and is really scared or starts trying to react to you, then you're totally fine. You can just keep pressuring the Sigma. If he starts walking your backline, then you can just, drop off high ground, walk back, and just start shooting him in the back if he wants to push forward. So you get to hold high ground, you get to scare the Ana. Now Ana wants to like probably walk away from here. She doesn't want to get attacked by the D.Va. So you get to fly up here, you can pressure the Ana back, and then you can see if the Sigma wants to make an aggressive play or not. And then if he makes an aggressive play, you can either decide to fight the Ana, who now doesn't have any help from her Sigma at all. Sigma can't really help her too much here in general, but then zero care at all from them. And the Wu Ying's also out of position because you saw him drop earlier, so Ana could be a very good character to dive right now. If Bastion wants to go over and help, like I said, you still have Defense Matrix. You can still just eat their cooldowns, and you can just fight high ground, force them back. That's a good thing D.Va can do. Or you could start going up here, pressure them, and then look back at the Sigma, try to fight the Sigma, kill them as a team quickly. Those are two really good things that you can already do straight out the gate that the Sigma cannot do because you have more movement. That's the things you kind of want to think of as D.Va, is the times that you can just go up to high ground and just even if you're just going up to high ground to shoot the enemy tank, that's always a really good thing to do. Almost always a really good thing. Sometimes there's better options, but in the end, you're not getting no value from just shooting tank. Yep, there we go. I like pushing high ground, shooting tank. Cool. So we see the Bastion is not scared of you. You can see he actively tried to walk away. All right, we wasting form again. Now, when you're at that range, shooting doesn't do that much. I do say, yes, keep shooting, but in this situation, I think, you either want to help your team. I like this defense matrix here, because you're not just protecting yourself, but you're also protecting your team. Anyone who's sitting behind this defense matrix, which, as you can see, is a fairly... Okay, I love that I just can't see, actually. But yeah, here we go. as you can see, that's actually a lot bigger of a hitbox than you think. Anyone who's sitting in this back position, if anyone, actually wants to sit in this position, is, like, completely protected from high ground. Old Defense Matrix used to go even further. I'm pretty sure it would actually reach all the way over here. I can't remember if it's buffed that. I don't remember the distance anymore. I think it's 10 meters, and it used to be 15, and that was broken. D.Va's, like, the best tank. But, yeah, no, I like this defense matrix a lot, and trying to defense matrix not only for yourself but for your team as well is probably a very good thing to do as D.Va, good habit to have. Either way, Sigma's still kind of just sitting here. I think we kind of just want to pressure Sigma as best you can. You with your team, just try to get the Sigma out of there. Now that we saw the Wu Yang drop, this is a great time for you to punish. So this is a team that you can do some punishes, I guess, against. Your team is kind of backed up, so you maybe want to wait a little bit before making that play. As you can see, your Baptiste has this high ground position with you. He's able to help you out, and your team is all fairly close by. Maybe if you wait for like 1 second, wait for Wu Yang to get over towards this corner a little closer, what you can do is you can make an aggressive play onto their Wu Yang, or maybe onto their Ana as well, and just see if you can find that first pick for your team. Or something along the lines, or at least take a distraction so your DPS or something can find that first pick. Unfortunately, your Ashe did die here. So either you can go for the aggressive trade. I like it. Okay. There's that rock. And Bastion should have been shooting you there. If not, so. Now that your team... You get a good trade. They have found your Baptiste now. That's a lot of your healing. So then you want to be a little scared. You're going to have the Wu Yang, and your Junkrat also is dead. Your team's dead. Most of your team's dead now. What I would do is I would just back out. You don't need to be in here anymore. What you could do is just fly all the way back out to your team, or at least back out to this side, and you can defense matrix this way. And then that way, if your Ashe doesn't get the memo that she keeps speaking, and you run a defense matrix and they die, that is not your fault anymore. You used all your cooldowns to try to keep them alive. That's the Ashe's fault. And if they complain about you, what you could do is say, I used all my cooldowns to help you, and you still died. And then make it on them, and then they look really bad. And then, all your team goes like, yay, our D.Va's the best, and then everyone has a great day, except for the Ashe, because the Ashe was being toxic. And that's if the Ashe is toxic. I'm just joking, of course, but... yeah, no, because you kind of stayed in there, you ended up losing your mech here, and possibly dying if they ended up dying in baby form. So, usually not a play you want to make. Also, whenever you're in baby form, it is pretty much always your goal just to get back into mech. Baby D.Va is, like, easily the worst character in the entire game. It is on purpose that they make it. Just because if a character had 2 lives like D.Va does, and the second one is very strong, just like the first, then yeah, there'd be issues. It would be incredibly broken. It's already amazing now. Yeah. In some cases, it's not even a bad idea to die on purpose. So what you could do is just force your death. Because now you're charging a bolt. You've gotten close enough to your ult because you're only 10% off that it's better just to go for to charge your ultimate and get your mech back. But it probably overall would have been faster if you just full rushed at someone, tried to find a trade. What I like to do on Baby D.Va when I'm just trying to die and just just because when you die you get to your mech quicker. What I would do is I just like full sprint at one of their like supports or DPS and just try to like catch them off guard and kill them. And sometimes they'll miss or whatever, and then your bullets full push them. Either A, you get enough more damage so you can get closer to your mech, or B, you die and then your mech quicker. Spawn, especially because spawn's like right behind you. Sorry, I fly around a lot, but your spawn's like right there, so it's not a bad idea just to die really quickly, get your mech back. Sebastian doesn't have shift here. Sebastian doesn't have shift here, so do not be scared to attack him at this. It is a 2v1 here, but you're D.Va, and D.Va's a very scary character. And if Bastion doesn't have shift form, so he isn't going to do very much damage to you. So, and his hitbox is huge, so he's going to take a lot of damage. So, honestly, that's a time where you could just push that aggression and just fight the Bastion. Bastion is not very strong. There is the Ana near him that does kind of change a little bit. Oh, you almost got big. That would be good. Now, right now this is the time you want to defense basics. Okay. So, when your teammate is 1 HP like this, or at least half, to the point where Sigma can kill your teammate in one burst. They have the Nano from the... They have both Nano, and they also got Wu Yang ulted earlier, so he's very healthy right now. You're not going to be able to kill him if you do it. He's like I said, completely nanoed. He has a lot of HP still. Your Ashe threw Bob in, like, the worst possible position. Crap. Either way, in this situation, because Kiriko can just die to one burst of his abilities, right now you just want to defense matrix the Sigma. Try to let your Kiriko live here, because you're not going to die to him very quick. You have plenty of time to get your fly back and use your defense matrix. Just stall it out so both your Kiriko lives and you live. Kiriko might live here, I didn't really see, because I think she got away and you're able to distract the Sigma. You still technically do your job, but defense matrix would have just been more efficient. We're going for a bomb here, it will get your mech back. You're going for... Oh my goodness! Holy shit, okay. Wow, that was a risky play. Okay, first of all, getting your mech back is huge. I don't mind that play at all, using your bomb to get your mech back here. But landing on high ground when the Bastion still has shift, as you can see, he's just gonna pop it. The moment you see him in the shift form, don't even think about putting remech. If he... I think he just misses you right here. Let me look at his POV. I think he literally just misses you. He gets scared and starts missing you. If you didn't walk past him and pop ult, he would have been able to turn around and easily kill you. You can 1 HP, and you stand still when you get in your mech. Do not push the Bastion like that by yourself. The Kiriko also was able to help you out and distract him a little more, which was huge. But if your Kiriko wasn't there, Bastion could still be alive and could have possibly killed you. Kiriko is able to find the kill, and I like that you defense matrix. That was a good habit there. That thing, you could have sat on high ground just a little bit longer. Just to pressure them a little more, try to get your bearings, wait for the Kiriko to heal you up, make sure no one's in danger and stuff like that. Never a bad idea just to wait for 1 second after finding that first pick and come up with a strong game plan, rather than just immediately pushing an advantage. Don't fully know the situation. It's one of those things you gotta pay attention. Little nades like flying through the sky like that. Because if you keep your eye on it, you'll see it coming a lot more often than you think. So the moment you see that little throw, you can see it flying through the sky. That you had like have plenty more time than you'd think to be able to react to that, hit your defense matrix, and just eat it just for like way too much value. If you're just like flashing your defense matrix really quick, no matter what cooldown you're eating, it's almost always worth it for you. So yeah. Always look out for little things like that, especially when they have an Ana and they can just randomly throw out a nade or a sleep dart at any time. Like, it's not easy to find, but when you really get your eye looking out for it, you can find it wrong. Okay, Reaper got a huge pick. Okay, be careful when pushing in with Fly into a position you're when your team isn't around, specifically. Because at this point, your Kiriko, I mean, the most of your team is back here, pushing team. There is a Reaper playing aggressive on the right, which is why I actually like this position. I wish you kind of held more on this corner, just like on this corner right here, but not swinging into them. Because the moment you fly out, if they're on it right now, a sleep dart, and they sleep you, well now, Mei can wall behind you, this Sigma can rock you, and you get punished and take a lot of damage. You'll probably die. And because you don't have fly, because you just used it to get around the corner, you don't really have a great way of running either. You want to be very careful with making an aggressive play. Actually, you can see the Mei tries to wall you up. Luckily, she misses. But making an aggressive flying play like that is just... You gotta be scared of plays like that. You have to respect your enemy a little bit. I do like the idea of you like swinging around to do damage and scouting a little bit. Just instead of using fly, just walk out. Just walk forward, and if you need to fly, you just turn around, fly away. And then you could go back to safety, go back towards your team. Kiriko will have Suzu for you, possibly TP to you. Wu Yang could, heal you, stuff like that. Use his wave. Like, in that way, you'd be able to fly back to your team if you ever needed it, and it'd be great. You still have your fly. Luckily, it's a short cooldown, so you do have it back at this point. The Sigma's now on your right. He is able to get that rock on you. Nice. I like this. Punish the Wu Yang. Don't worry about everyone else. Just worry about that Wu Yang for right now. Until he walks away. Okay, now that he's gone. Okay, you see him again. We can keep pressuring him. I like this. Okay, come on. Get him. Nice. Okay. Now we go back and try to help your team. Now... Your kill was a little slow on the Wu Yang. What you can do, if you're ever, like, if you don't think you kill, sometimes getting the kill is awesome. I really like that you went for the kill. But the moment he's really far away, I think, like, right here, the moment you, like, move him back, and you can see he's pretty far, and it might take a second for you to find the kill. Sometimes it's worth it just to back out and try to help your team instead. I do like that you went for the kill overall. And that skill you'll be better at killing people quicker over time as you get better at the game. So don't worry about that. That comes with time. It's very hard. This game is very, very hard. So, yes, not an easy game. I do like the aggression, though. I really like that you went for that kill. And in the end, those are the habits that are hard to teach. Like, aim and, like, that stuff will come with time. That just comes with practice. I can't really teach that. But what I can teach you is like try to get you in better positions and try to understand the decisions you want to make. And that decision was a great one, making an aggressive play onto the back line because you found an opening. Any openings you find like that on D.Va are always amazing. You try to capitalize those as much as you can. So I really like that you did that. Unfortunately, your team couldn't quite get there, and some of the kills were a little sloppy and stuff, and that happens because, you know, it's a hard game, and that's true for everyone in the lobby. Everyone has a hard time playing this game because it's a hard game. But yeah, I don't really have much else to say, so let's just move on to the other half. Alright, now we're defending as D.Va, and I actually really like defending. I think I prefer defending on D.Va attacking. Ooh, we're going to Sigma, actually. Okay, we're matching the Sig. Different character. Alright, first off, straight off the bat. And this is something I'm actually been annoyed with their Sigma, but I can't, I'm not really. You want to play high ground more often. Now, because they did push and only on first point, you do kind of want to hold a little more aggressive than usual, trying to just make some more wins early on and stuff like that, just to try to waste time as possible. But Sigma is a character that thrives on high ground. And yes, you are the tank and you do need to test point as much as you can, but a Sigma just sitting up top on this high ground right here and shooting down onto point, even if they are pushing it, they're not going to sit there for very long. They're just going to take a ton of damage. If you're taking aggro by shooting them and like have your shield in front of you, they can't exactly kill you immediately. They don't have that bastion anymore to do all the damage, so you have to flank you, which means that now they're pushing a Sigma up close and you can just like rock them and do a ton of damage, like in your case. Or they have to like, you know, they have to see under you and just hope they live. And well, Sigma shooting from above does a lot of damage. So high ground is very important on Sigma. And especially when you're playing on these like really good dive maps where high ground's super important, you always want to be worried about getting to high ground. Because the quickest way to get to high ground for Sigma when you don't have the flying perk will be either walking all the way around this way, through this building, get up the stairs, or you have to walk all the way around the other way, up these stairs, or you have to walk around all the way back here. Up. So you have 3 different stairs, but they're all out of the way, all like all the way back over in this corner, back over here, or back over here. Far away. It takes a while to get to high ground. So you usually want to be in high ground at least at the beginning of every fight, because that is the times that you'd be able to get to high ground, is when sorry, don't mind my dog. Because that is the times that you have time to get to high ground, is in between fights, and when you're not shooting something, try to get to high ground. That's my tip for you. When you're not shooting something, try to get to high ground. Hope that makes sense. Alright. So another thing, you don't want to use your shield like that, especially just in the middle of point, because that's when they can just push past your shield. And you can actually see them do it here. So, because look how far away the shield is from you, what I would have done is kind of put it on top of this corner right here. So, like, almost like, as in the camera, say the camera is the shield, I'd put it like right there where at the edge you can just see the corner, just so that you're able to swing out fully, but you still have this natural cover right here. But with this shield, they could just walk past it, and yes, you technically still have the natural cover, but you don't have as much access to it. And another thing, if you just see an enemy walk past your shield, just immediately retract it. It's not going to get very much value anymore, unless you're specifically cutting them off from backline, which in that case, focusing on that would be a very nice thing to do, but that's probably not the best thing to do. And when we're in a Sigma mirror, it is very good to wait for him to start pulling up his rock. Pulling out rock does have a little bit of a time. You can see him like pull it out a second before. But like, here we go. We see him walk forward. Now you can see him pull up his rock. The moment you ever see that, if you have shield, try to block it. It just gives you so much value because you can just block it really quick and you can drop your shield if you're worried about the shield breaking. Even if your shield's like literally 1 HP, just rock is a longer cooldown than your shield. So. Actually, your mages did the same thing to you, but instead of a shield, they used their own ice block. You just do the same thing, but with your shield. Another thing, Mei's just gonna shoot through your hands there, so Mei's still gonna be able to slow you down. So you kind of want to be careful of Mei while you're on Sigma as well. Right now we have a soldier on your right side just pumping out damage. In this situation, I actually would be a little more worried about the soldier. Now the Sigma is scary and the Mei is scary, yes. But when a soldier is finding just constant value on the side flank by himself without contention from you, that's when he just takes over your team, especially when he has a Mercury pocket. So you have to be careful. As the tank, it is most of the time your job to be the one who deal with those DPS that are like popping off on your team, and on the enemy team I meant. So especially like hit scans, so like longer range DPS, tanks are going to be the ones who can deal with that easily, because when they're far away, they could just kind of kill the people that are trying to get on top of them. So if you just throw a shield in his face, soldier cannot break shield very quickly, even with a mercy pocket. So you have plenty of time at that point. You have your Sigma hands, his grasp, his kinetic grasp, just in case you need that for extra HP as well, which you did end up using a little bit early here, which I wouldn't recommend. You kind of want to use that in a situation where you either eat a ton of value, as in like an ultimate, if you get like a pulse bomb or a Hanzo ult or a Mei ult in this case, it's huge value. But in this situation, the only person really shooting you here is the Mei, maybe the soldier a little bit, and the Sigma. So it's not a lot of value, and you're mostly full HP, and your supports are also still in LOS of you. They can still help you out. So this grasp is a little early, I'd say. Yeah, using it as like an ability to try to help yourself in a dangerous situation is still a good play, though. But yes, it's kind of a lot of time your job to worry about those offing. Oh my goodness, I'm hitting buttons with my keyboard on accident. Okay. Oh wait, we actually do switch over to the soldiers, so nice. Yeah. Make sure, but yeah, the moment you hear a soldier shooting out like this, you can hear him on the stairs. He's in a lot more penetrating position. And there we go, you actually do switch to him, so huge. I like this a lot. So with that shield right there, now he is. There we go, pressure him out. Cool. Now the soldier's out of there. The Mei just block his cryo. Okay, that's another hands you don't want to use. So when you're using hands like that, here's his grasp. Rock will cancel your grasp. So that's another thing in a Sigma mirror. If you ever see their Sigma use a grasp and you have your rock, try to hit their Sigma with the rock, because it immediately knocks him to the floor. If he gets any extra health out of his grasp, he doesn't get it anymore. So if he was going to get any, he doesn't get that anymore. So you're already just getting rid of the value from his cooldown doing that. You knock him to the ground, and he cannot put up his shield to block it either. So if you can throw a rock at him, you want to. But in turn, if you know that they're Sigma, you haven't seen him use rock yet, and you have your grasp, try to hold on to your grasp for as long as you can, just until he uses his rock. Then you can use it for free and not be as much. Kind of got lucky that the Mei accidentally blocked it there, because he would have knocked you on your phone. Alright, so now Mercy is making it very aggressive. Another thing with Sigma, I don't want to work on your aim training a little bit. Sigma is very important because he's very much about just landing as much damage as you can. Sigma does high damage, not very much mobility, and has a shield. He wants to bunker down and do damage, and Sigma's very good at that. So you want to focus a lot on your aim. And what I've seen with you is you're looking directly at your targets. You're aiming him like he's a hit skin while he's a projectile. So instead what you want to do, kind of aim, while you see the Mercy walking left like that, you want to aim just a little bit ahead. Right in this position, you want to aim, like, let me go pause frame. When you're seeing the Mercy right here, you actually want to aim like about right here, maybe a little bit further to the left, and just as she's walking in that direction, just aim a little bit in front of her, and just work on that as much as you can. Because then once you start doing some real damage at the same time, it feels really broken. It feels like a super strong. So try to make sure you're trying to be in front of your target as much. Right now we have a Mei freezing you. If you can hear that, Mei is behind you. If there's ever a DPS or anyone in your backline, that is now you must turn around and get. I know that the enemy is still pushing up. They still are trying to push further into you, and unfortunately, it is a distraction that would allow them to push a little bit further. But if you start pushing into them while you have a Mei behind you, now your Illari is just getting constant pressure from. Your Sombra is going to get. And if you have anyone else in your backline, so like the soldier will be in your backline in a sec, the Mei will also be able to pressure them. So all of your team will be pressured by that Mei. But if instead all four of you just turn around, instantly kill the Mei 4v1, and then turn back around, now they're down a player. It's a lot easier for you to fight. Even if it's slightly better positioning off of it, being down a player is very bad. So you want to try to put them down a player as much as possible at all times. And turning around when you hear an enemy behind you is almost always worth it. You do try to cancel res, which is huge, because no one else in your team tried to cancel. But because of the Mei's behind you, as you can see, the Mei's just adding more pressure. He's able to kill more people in your backline. And unfortunately, this doesn't go very well for your team. But yes, overall, I like the play. It looks good. I'm going to do a practice range. I didn't really talk about perks at all in this. But so I'm going to roughly go over that, because I don't know what perks you pick on these characters. I didn't really pay attention, I'm not going to lie. So I'm just going to go over the perks on both of them and kind of talk about the things that I find important in characters. So for D.Va, like I said, her headshot's very big. I'm just going to show it off. Like, I'm landing headshots like all the way out here. And I know I'm, you know, let me find like an accurate character. Let's go for Cass. How do I roll for it? Okay. So as you can see, this like right here, right there, that's a headshot. I believe all the glass will be like a headshot. If you shoot anywhere in the glass, that's a headshot. And as you can see, that's quite a large amount. So you have to be you need to be very, very careful about your headshot hitbox as a whole. So just like, yeah, I don't know. Just keep that in mind, that your headshot's very big. So you're going to lose a lot of HP really quick. Like if the Cass is just shooting you like this, like in 6 bullets and then just a roll, like you're already just like almost completely out of your max. So yeah, just keep that in mind when you're playing D.Va. Your hitbox is massive. You're gonna take a lot of damage, but in turn, look how quickly you can kill people. Like it's insane. Or you can boot people off and do stuff like that. Yeah, no, in turn, like say if I'm just shooting the D.Va and I'm landing headshots and I'm using my missiles, like just in the time of my missiles, I did half the D.Va's HP, which is literally like insane amounts. As you can see, 700 at the bottom. I mean the numbers, I believe, yeah, it actually says now. 22 base damage per each shot. You do 22 damage without letting headshots, and that's for each of these shots. Like that's 22 damage, 22 damage, 22 damage. That's a lot of damage really quickly. Her DPS is fairly high, and this is a character with 700 HP. So, yeah, it's a strong character. Plus, you know, extra damage with this stuff and any whatever perks you get. Either way, for the perks, the right one actually just got buffed, so I don't know which one's fully better. I know for a long time people have always been picking the left one, just because the 75 overhealth when you're out of mech is just insane. And I mean, damage radius being increased on the getting back into your mech is never really a bad thing. I mean, you don't really go for that doing damage with that, especially when you get to better and better at the game, and your enemies also get better. You don't really want to go for that because it's kind of scary when you stand still for a little bit to pull out your ultimate. But I have been interested in this new one, doing like double the damage, because now it means it does 50 damage first, which now you're going to burst people down just that little bit quicker, and you get a longer fly. So this is the one I picked, because I think it's also fun to have the fly get duration, like a fly duration going up, because I flew from all the way down here, all the way up back there, just because, and did 50 damage to both these planes. So, very useful. For the second one, it's pretty much always just the right one. Just having the extra range, because now I'm just being able to burst people at this range. Like, it's just very, very valuable. And if you didn't know, on top of that, if you use that ability and then also your missiles come out quicker. You can actually just kill people instantly at long range. It's very strong. So yeah, that's strong. And then for Sigma, I think for him, you want to be, I think, a little better at just placing shield right in front of you. Just only, like, just tapping the button really quickly, place it right in front of you, and then playing off of it. And then what I was saying for the corners, when you want to play around corners with him, you kind of want to place it on the corner. Not necessarily like that, maybe. I don't really play as Sigma. I don't play very much Sigma, but, oh. There we go. Perfect. Nope, I still failed up. Okay, that'll work. But yeah. That way you can play off of the wall, but whenever you come kite all the way back here, there's no like cracks in between they can shoot. They can't easily push past this because they have to come all the way up. They have to commit fully past the corner before they're even able to fight you. And then the shield blocks them off. So if they have supports, think about it this way. You have supports and they're wanting to push around the corner to the left. Now their supports, if they push to the left, their supports can't see them, they can't heal up. Your shield will either block them off, so they can't shoot through the shield if they want to push past into you. And they can't push to the right of the shield, really, because that means they'd have to fully swing past the wall as well. And if they're swinging past the wall, that means any teammates you can have on the high grounds, like back here. Obviously, I can't really show you Dorado right now because I'm not on Dorado. But I think you can kind of get the idea. Where they have to fully commit if they want to fight that. And fully committing into a team fight is a scary thing to do because you don't want to die. So, yeah. Try to make the entire team make more of an overcommitment by placing shields just like this to make them walk into you. It's a good thing. For what I pick on Sigma, I usually just pick the right one, where you get your damage just gets your shield health back. Because if your shield takes a lot of damage, let me switch this thing over here so I do more damage. Being able to. Because then I'm pretty sure when it's not, it'll heal up when the shield's up, which doesn't happen normally. So like as long as you're shooting people, your shield will still be going up, even though it's constantly taking damage. It's still up. Usually it wouldn't be. So you know, it's valuable that way. So your shield actually gains more health while it's still up. You don't have to retract it. And then yeah, And also, because direct shots are very important, but as you can see, remember just to lead your shots just a little bit. These ones move pretty slow, so it's a little easier to track. But as you can see, just shoot a little bit ahead of your targets. And the faster the character is, the more you have to lead, and the further away they are. It's hard to do. It's not an easy skill to learn. But the moment you learn it, as you can see, Sigma's doing a ton of damage as long as you're in directs. And you get more value out of that perk as well, the one that I just selected. So, like stuff like that. You can also, if you want to be really advanced, you can flick between two people and do damage to two different targets. But don't really worry about that. That's not that useful time. Now for the second perk, I think the second perk is a lot more personal preference. I think both are very good. For me, I think the float is very fun, and it's just very fun to just like go high ground, and you can use it to like get the high ground. And, like that's a great way to do it. You can, and then fly up. But yeah. Also, a lot of times on maps, there's like little spots like that you can use to get up to high ground quicker. Just like standing on a fence instead, just to have a little more height to make it up to high ground. Just little things like that are like everywhere on the map. Just try to look for those whenever you can if you ever do pick the float perk. And it's just very fun just have access to high ground at all times. Because like a Sigma, now I can float up to this. I can float up to this high ground. And float up to this high ground. So instead of having to walk all the way over there to get to the stairs and then walk around all the way around here, now I'm just sitting on the high ground. But just by using float. So that's very useful. So maps like Dorado, maps like Watchpoint Gibraltar, very, very high ground focused maps that are really tall and you just want to be up high. Sigma Float is very, very valuable. And Circuit Royale, that's another map that's pretty good like that. Circuit Royale is like Sigma's best map as well. So if you're ever wanting to play Sigma, try to pick Circuit Royale. But yeah, for his other perk though, it's very good, I think, especially when you're brawling a lot more. If there's an enemy that's fighting really close to you more often, say they have a Ramattra or a Reinhardt, those are characters that are both very good against Sigma, so people might switch into that against you. But if they're just trying to get in your face, they play Junker Queen, Naga, Orisa, Ramattra, Zarya, Reinhardt, all these very aggressive tanks that'll get up in your face and do damage. Pretty much every tank, honestly, they all get up here. Second perk becomes a lot more valuable, because now when you land 5 directs, when you melee them, when they get knocked up into the air, they can't do anything. You can use that, rock them a lot easier, because they're going to move more predictably. Stuff like that, so yeah, it's a very, very good perk. Yeah, I don't play an insane amount of Sigma. I used to play him a lot more. Somewhere in between my tanks for hours. But he was my best tank. He was the first tank I got to Platinum with back in like 2020. How much time do I? Now I'm curious. Yeah. Oh, 37 hours. But yeah. Cool. If you got any questions, just let me know. I don't really have much else to say. So yeah, I'm just gonna end it here. Cool. Peace out.